Stocks hit record highs again.
1929, a time when fortunes kept soaring higher, like they never crashed. But who could have guessed how much one day could change?
You got any steel stock, mister? Or maybe railroads?
You know about the stock market?
Everyone knows. My buddy Charlie says railroads are the next big thing. Stocks only go up, right? It's been 10 years. Railroads, mister? Don't forget railroads.
Since 1920, America was on a roll. Factories were pumping out goods faster than people could buy them. And the stock market only knew one direction: up. Life was sweet, and one thing made it all look easy.
Joe, your son is flying off the couch again. It's gonna break.
Tell him if he breaks it. We'll have to buy a new one on credit.
Credit makes everything easy, right?
Too easy if you ask me. My paycheck is running marathon to keep up with the car, fridge, and that magic radio.
Tommy just broke the table again.
Perfect. Put it on the list. Oh, and don't forget, we're heading to the inauguration now. New president's got big plans. My fellow Americans, we're nearer to the final triumph over poverty than ever before.
Did he just promise to end poverty? Bold move.
Hey, he's known as the great engineer for the Dempsey boat and the great humanitarian for feeding Europe after the war. From orphan at 9 to president. If anyone can do it, it's him. We're at a crossroads. Do we stick to rugged, individualism, the belief in hard work and self-reliance, or government control and handouts?
Rugged what? Some cowboy thing?
Hey, it's about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. It's about hard work and ambition. Those skyscrapers, we built them, not the government. Together, we should banish poverty to the history books and build a nation so tall and strong. Even our skyscrapers will look up to it.
You really buying it?
You kidding? I'm sold. Hoover, an orphan turned self-made success, built his life on the belief that self-reliance could overcome anything. But his idea is about to face its ultimate test. Sell it all now.
Wait, you just sold everything? Why? The market's booming.
When even the Shoeshine Boy has stock tips, the bubble is about to pop.
What's that supposed to mean?
Storm's coming. They don't even see the clouds yet.
Should I be worried or just mildly terrified?
Mild? No. Terribly horrified.
Oh my god! Wait, who are you?
October 1929. The roaring 20s were still roaring. Champagne was flowing, and everyone thought the good times would never end. But that day has come, when the party stopped and the hangover began. Here's the thing, everyone and their grandma was investing in stocks. Most of that cash wasn't theirs. They borrowed money to buy stocks, thinking prices would keep climbing, they'd pay back the loan, and still strike it rich. Then came Black Thursday, October 24th. Prices plummeted, panic set in, and everyone rushed to sell. The chaos peaked on Black Tuesday, October 29th, when the market lost over 25% of its value in just 2 days. By 1932, it had lost nearly 90% of its value. The crash didn't just hit Wall Street, it rippled through the whole country. Banks gambled their customers' money on stocks, and when the market tanked, they went under too. Over the next few years, 9,000 banks failed. People's life savings disappeared, leaving families penniless. Businesses couldn't pay workers, factories shut down, and unemployment soared. The roaring 20s, followed by the moaning 30s. Suddenly, many men faced situations like this. How much? 20%. Wage cut. Wow! Thank you. Thank you? At least it's not 40, like next door. Engineer with 20 years experience, family to feed. Boss, can we make it 10%? It's 40, or the door. Congrats on your 40%. Let me know when they take 60. Wages were slashed by up to 40%. And people still felt lucky to have a job, but little did they know, this was just the opening act. I'll take anything. Sweeping, stocking, even fixing things. Sorry pal, already hired her. Women work cheaper these days.
And that's still a problem decades later.
But I'm a qualified engineer. Overqualified pal. Shouldn't you be playing off or something?
Not with my booming firewood empire to run. You can have that stump over there. It's really heavy. Good luck.
I'm being out-hustled by 4th graders? What's next? Kids opening their own banks?
Nothing today either.
Nope, but I got some solid life advice from a 10-year-old entrepreneur. That counts for something, right?
You said we're gonna live a good life. What happened to that plan?
The plan? Turns out the plan didn't include the world falling apart, women taking every job, and kids stealing all the firewood.
I bought a raffle ticket for rabbit stew today. Maybe we'll get lucky.
You are the winner.
Well, we have dinner for now.
Hoover must have a plan for this, right? The market is taking a tumble, yes, but America is sound. What's first on the agenda? Sir, people can't afford food. Staple prices are dropping. Farmers are dumping milk on the roads. What? Milk on the road? That's innovative. That's free fertilizer for the soil. Sir, about the Federal Farm Board? Yes, we've given them $500 million. Tell them to buy extra crops and hold prices steady. Problem solved. What's next? People are pulling their savings in a panic. Banks are collapsing across the country. Oh my god. That's invisible hands at work. The market's regulating itself by closing down weak banks. Great. But sir, we'll lose them all. Set up the National Credit Corporation. Healthy banks can loan to weaker ones. Like neighbors helping neighbors. Very American. Sir, they don't trust each other enough to loan. Then tell them to trust harder. Confidence is key. Speaking of which, gentlemen, thank you for coming. Let's agree. No cutting wages, no layoffs. We'll weather the storm together, right?
Mr. President, we can try, but profits are shrinking.
Nonsense! This nation was built by rugged individuals. If businesses can't survive a little downturn, maybe they're just not rugged enough. Keep the workers paid, and they'll keep spending. Spending feeds the economy. See? It's a circle. Everyone loves circles. But let's protect our businesses. Raise taxes on imports with the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. And so, Hoover believed in letting the market heal itself. But the crisis only worsened. The crash was just the first domino to fall. Then came disaster after disaster. The agriculture industry got hit the hardest. Crops rotted in the field because farmers couldn't afford to harvest them. Just a few miles away, people starved because there was no one left to transport food. And then there was milk, tons of it, dumped on the roads because people couldn't afford to buy it. Meanwhile, kids went to bed hungry. Then, just when you thought things couldn't get worse, nature stepped in and said, think again. The Dust Bowl hit the Great Plains, turning farmlands into desert and dreams into dirt. 2.5 million fled to other states to compete for jobs already vanishing. Families were losing everything, their farms, homes, and even hope. And as bad as it seemed for Americans, they weren't alone in the struggle. When American consumers tightened their wallets, the global economy shook. Countries dependent on US exports, Latin America, Europe, Japan, plunged into crisis. Now, with the US raising the import tax, they're not going to sit quietly. So the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, it's not working. What do you mean by not working? Tariffs protect jobs. That's economics 101. Yes, but other countries are firing back with tariffs of their own. Our exports are tanking and factories are shutting down. Then we'll build our way out. Dams, bridges, roads, public works. That's actually a good idea, sir. Of course, start with the Hoover Dam. It even has my name on it. The Hoover Dam wasn't Hoover's idea. It had been in the works for years, but the timing was right, and it gave thousands of people jobs when they needed it the most. Sir, banks are failing faster than we can count. The National Credit Corporation isn't stopping the bleeding. We'll set up the Reconstruction Finance Corporation. Big loans to banks and businesses. Keep the top steady. It'll trickle down to everyone else. But when banks got the money, they played it safe, locking the funds away rather than lending them out. Trickled down, more like trickling nowhere. Hoover slowly increased aid, but refused to meddle too much. He believed Americans could weather the storm with grit and gumption. The problem? Storms don't care how tough you are. They take your roof with them. Among the unemployed, one group stood out. Veterans who had once fought for their country and now couldn't fight off the storm. Their pride was fading fast, replaced by desperation.
Hey, if there's no work here, why not try somewhere else?
No money for food, let alone a train ticket.
Ever heard of a hobo?
This better not get me killed. First time, huh? Don't worry, the train is free. The hospitality? Not so much. Don't need hospitality, just a job. Well, hope you like picking crops for peanut. Harvest late. We'll take all the hands we can get. So, what's the pay for today? Sorry, boys. Can't pay today. Crops aren't selling, and the banks are breaking down my neck. But you get a big full sack of peanuts. Welcome to the depression, friend, where we've got everything except money. When money was scarce, people bartered. They worked for peanuts, chickens, potatoes, whatever kept them going. Across America, 15 million people lived on survivor mode without safety net.
No safety net at all?
No place was safe, except one. Governor Roosevelt, unemployment is skyrocketing. People are starving. Factories are closing. It's chaos out there. Sounds like Monday to me. Relax, we've got this. Now, what's the first on the agenda? Right, Tira. We'll send money to local governments to feed people, house them, and give them jobs. Soup kitchens, public works, all of it. Quick, simple, effective. But sir, the budget. Oh, please. Can we boil the budget and serve it as soup? Stitch it into a quilt? No? Then we'll move on. Roads, bridges, snow removal, anything that puts people to work. A paycheck, my friends, is more than just money, it's dignity. And if that dignity happens to fix potholes, even better. Sir, what if it doesn't work? Then we try something else. Ever seen a rooster stop crowing because the sun didn't rise? Neither have I. We're not just standing in the line, we stand together. Every line leads somewhere. It's up to us to decide where.
Somewhere with more fruit?
As governor of New York, Roosevelt tried many solutions. Some worked, others didn't, but each one prepared him for what lay ahead. The challenges on a much larger stage. In the hardest of times, even the most hardworking people couldn't always provide for their families. It wasn't their failure, it was the weight of a broken system. Pride was tested. But these moments weren't about weakness, they were about survival. Even when everything fell apart, people leaned on each other. But no matter how hard they work, could they hold a system already broken? And if not them, then who? Sir, people are starving. We need action now. I fed Europe after the war. Why can't I feed my own people? Sir, then why not help Americans the way you helped Europeans? We're already helping with the RFC and public work. Sir, is it enough? And what if it's too much? What if we turn into a nanny state and our people forget how to stand on their own? Sure, it's easy to look back and judge Hoover now, but his choice wasn't exactly simple. Bold moves might save lives, but risk the country's foundation. Staying steady might preserve the system, but leave millions to suffer. Either way, someone would pay the price. Hoover would take the blame, and people would bear the cost. But in the end, his downfall wasn't the choice itself, but a single, critical mistake. Mr. President, sir, we've got an army outside. 17,000 strong. What? Are we at war? No, sir. They're World War I veterans. Veterans? Camped out on Anacostia Flats. They've brought their families with them. To support me? They're demanding their bonuses. Compensation promised for 1945. But they want it now. And they're not leaving. Ah, rugged individuals in action. Surely they'll understand. We can't just hand out money like that. Sir, the press is all over this. Photos of veterans, their kids, and the campfire. It's bad optics. Bad optics? Don't be dramatic. It's temporary. They'll leave when they see reason. What are the police doing? Sir, the DC commissioner is trying to handle it. And just like that, things escalated quickly, spiraling out of control. Get me General MacArthur. Mr. President, we need to act. This is an invasion to the capital. An invasion? They are unarmed veterans, Douglas. I'll bring the cavalry, tanks, tear gas. We'll handle this like a military operation. Just make it quiet. And no rough stuff. Fire? Fire! But MacArthur figured the best way to handle veterans was with tanks, fire, and a big public relation disaster, even when subtlety might have worked just fine. The bonus army has been forcibly removed. Public outrage grows as President Hoover is accused of attacking the very man who fought for America. Damn it, Douglas! I told you to be gentle. These men fought for this country. They don't deserve tanks and tear gas. Looks like Hoover just handed us the election, Governor. I don't believe in kicking a man when he's down. But if he insists on lying there, I won't stop him.
Sir, the corner seems farther than we thought.
Pack up the desk. I've rounded my last corner. And so, Hoover's presidency ended with a bonus army bonfire, as Roosevelt prepared for the falling dominoes. My friends, the time for action is now. We must fight fear with hope, inaction with bold ideas, and let's never forget the sacrifices of those who served our country.
Mr. President, what do we do?
Relax. Let's start with fixing the banks. You can't fix a broken car while it's rolling downhill, can you? And so, Roosevelt closed the banks. He knew the public need faith in him, so he started a radio broadcast, the first president podcast, the Fireside Chat. My friends, the banks are closed to stop the chaos, not your savings. Trust us, we're fixing it. And remember, the only thing we have to fear is... fear itself. Roosevelt reassured people like a calm dad, except this one ran the country. Roosevelt reopened the banks with a promise. Your money's safer here than under your mattress. Turns out the banks were closed for checking and reopened after fixing, but now backed by the reserve. People rushed to withdraw, but by the same month, 2/3 redeposited their savings. Gentlemen, we're trying new things. If it fails, it's experimental. If it works, it's genius. America needed action, and Roosevelt was happy to try anything, even if it means throwing spaghetti at the wall. Unemployed? Like trees? Congrats! You're hired to plant forests, fight fires, and build trails. Conserve natural resources for our future national wealth. Not worth farming? Let's pay farmers to grow less. Sounds weird, but it worked. Prices went up, and so did farmers' smiles and their farms. Need a bridge, a road, a giant dam? PWA have you covered. Jobs for people, projects for America. Roosevelt updates everyone his plan, everything he does, openly. My fellow Americans, I just came out of the bathroom. It went really well and smooth and
That's too open.
But sir, this needs a crazy lot of money. We can only print $20 for every ounce of gold we have. That's the rule.
Well, rules are made to be broken. Let's unshackle the dollar from gold. Who says money can't be flexible? By 1933, Roosevelt decided the dollar didn't need a babysitter anymore. He ditched the gold standard, freeing the government to print money, fund programs, and revive the economy. Gold, it could finally relax in the vault, free from monetary babysitting duties. We're not through this yet, my fellow Americans. We'll keep trying until this great nation is back on its feet. And we've gotta hit the bathroom. Roosevelt gave the country a to-do list, a pep talk, and action. Not everything worked, but he didn't wait for a solution to come around the corner. So Roosevelt's got his New Deal. Wonder if it comes with a steak dinner?
I'd settle for a potato that doesn't echo when you knock on it.
Hey Joe, heard you're handy. Want to plant trees, fix trails, and maybe even fight a wildfire? Hot meals, decent pay, and honest work. Where do I sign? The CCC gave millions jobs, food, and dignity.
They're paying us to grow less?
Guess less really is more.
Come on, kids! Let's unplant those corns.
Families got their paychecks back, their dignity, and finally, a meal that wasn't just soup. Roosevelt delivered on his promise. One tree, one dam, one paycheck at a time.
But why did Hoover do this?
Because he feared this would happen. Dear
I'd keep it short. He's kind of busy fixing your mess.
Mr. President, public spending is climbing faster than we can justify it. People are relying on government aid more than ever. It's unsustainable.
Unsustainable? The whole economy was unsustainable before it got here. But fine, let's see the damage. Well, that's a number big enough to scare even me. So Roosevelt pulled back on government spending. Turns out, government debt doesn't just disappear. Eventually, it gets paid through taxes. The result? A sharp economy downturn, now called the Roosevelt recession.
Sir, you should rest. Tomorrow's another big day.
Tell me something. What happens if I'm wrong?
Wrong, sir?
Look at the soaring debt. What if we deplete all the money and plan and it still doesn't end?
I remember you said the only thing we should fear is fear itself, right?
Yeah, I said that. No one knows how this will end. We'll keep moving.
Unemployment is rising again, sir. Bread lines are back in full swing.
And Hoover sent you a letter. It says, "Ha! Told ya!"
Well, tell him I said shut up! Hoover believed in letting the markets heal themselves. Roosevelt believed in stepping in, even if it meant rewriting the rules and the future's budget.
People are saying the New Deal has failed, sir.
Failed? You only fail when you stop trying. We've just begun. So let's loosen the purse string, shall we? And loosen them he did. Every act came with a big price tag, pushing the nation's debt higher and higher. Roosevelt gambled on the future, borrowing from future generations to build tomorrow's infrastructure and give jobs to people today. For families, the New Deal was a lifeline. Yet for the nation, recovery was still a long road ahead. In times of chaos, there are always some rise above the ashes. The man sold his stock just in time. He bought low when the world hit rock bottom and watched his fortune grow from $4 million to $180 million during the Great Depression. He turned the crash into wealth, then transformed that wealth into power, and that power into a legacy that shaped America's future. A young president's epic staring contest with America's greatest rival. But Joseph Kennedy wasn't the only one, and some are very dangerous men. America raised taxes on imports with the Smoot-Hawley Act to protect its businesses, but this backfired and caused a global trade war. By 1932, world trade dropped by over 60%, leaving goods unsold, economy struggling, and tensions rising.
Tensions are rising overseas. Germany, Japan, Italy, all boiling over.
And how is our situation?
The economy is still shaky, debt's piling up, and people are scared. Oh, and there's a talk of Hitler aiming for world domination.
Let's hope the dawn is promising as it looks. In Germany, economic despair lifted Hitler to power. In Japan, ambition met desperation. And in Italy, Mussolini. He just kept Mussolini. The question wasn't if the storm would come, but when. America's recovery would soon collide with the world at war, and Roosevelt would soon face a challenge far greater than the Great Depression, the largest and deadliest war in human history.